Hello everyone. Today we are going to see the chapter 5 which deals about the sales contract and Incoterms. So let's move on. Sales contract is the mother of all contracts. This underlies as the base for all other related contracts with respect to transport method, payment method, roles and responsibilities of the contracted parties. Sales contract is also referred as sales agreement, export contract or foreign sales agreement. Main thing which fascinates the banker is when LC is chosen as a method of settlement, then the undertaking is separate from the sales contract on which it may be based. Why we are talking about the sales contract now? Because if the sales contract is domestic, there will be the same government policy for both buyer and seller. But in the international trade context, parties belong to different trade regime and practice. So there is a high chance for dispute and spoil the ongoing trade at all levels. In order to avoid the potential disputes and subsequent delays, the parties to the trade should agree to common terms, especially the roles and responsibilities which dictates who has to do what and how it has to be done, etc. Please note that banks are not part of the trade yet. As per the law of contract followed by many countries in the world, the main aspects to be contained are a valid offer to be made for a consideration and subsequent agreement to be given by the counterparty to perform an act. So, the key element will be the agreement of a buyer to pay a seller with an agreed price for a specified quantity of goods. Many countries impose that the legal contracts should be written, signed, and notarized to be legally enforceable. But few countries accept even telephonic, fax, email, where there is a common consent between the parties are arrived. Please refer to the self-study material or even any open internet sources to see the content of sales contract and also see pro forma invoice and purchase orders, how it is how it looks like, what are all the basic things it has, and the framework of how it is given. In general, sales contract cover quantity of goods, unit price, the time period for delivery, the method of payment, and the manner in which the goods are to be delivered, usually by reference to a trade term, which is also called as ICC Incoterm, which country's law will apply in the event of a dispute. Sometimes the contract may take a different way of executing. That is, seller will send a pro forma invoice to the buyer and buyer accepts with or without any required modifications, and then that will become the contract after buyer's agreement. In the same way, a buyer may also send a purchase order to the seller to buy certain quantity of goods at an agreed price. Then seller accepts with or without any required modifications, and then that will become the contract after seller gives a consent. We will see about Incoterms, what it means. It is nothing but an acronym derived from International Commercial Terms. It is one of a publication issued by ICC. There are many publications issued from time to time. The last one issued used till now was Incoterms version 2010. Recently it was replaced by 2020. It clearly identifies the rights and responsibilities of a parties involved in the delivery of goods under a contract of sale. This Incoterm will serve as a reason for other contracts. For example, if Incoterms CAF is used, then requirement for insurance is mandatory and it is the responsibility of the seller to provide the same. It can also be inferred that the specific Incoterm has to happen via sea, and any sea transport document will be part of the presentation. There are total 11 Incoterms in it. As per the contract agreement, the respective Incoterm will be decided and also incorporated in the LC if LC is chosen as the payment of method. Basically, it is represented as three alphabets. In this video, I will explain the 11 Incoterms mentioned in the version 2010. At the end, I will explain the changes and details about version 2020. As we said, there are 11 Incoterms which are for use in both domestic and also international transactions. Each Incoterm sets out the obligations of the seller and buyer under the sales contract and indicates the point at which the responsibility is transferred from seller to buyer. The buyer's obligation is highest in EXW, that is Ex Works, and for seller it is highest in DDP, that is Delivered Duty Paid. Any obligation that does not appear in a particular Incoterm is the responsibility of the buyer unless the sales contract says otherwise. The 11 Incoterms are again grouped into two sets. One set has only sea mode and the other set has applicable for all modes of transport. So for all modes of transports, there are 7 and remaining 4 will be for only sea. Those Incoterms are Ex Works, free carrier, carriage paid to, carriage and insurance paid to, delivered at terminal, delivered at place, delivered duty paid, and only for sea 4 are there, that is free alongside ship, free on board, cost and freight, cost, insurance and freight. Below figure explains the obligations of the seller starting from left to right with the least to highest responsibility. You can see the major responsibilities and the events happening in the transportation. Buyer and seller should understand the significance of the Incoterms used. Future conflicts can be avoided if they know to use the right Incoterm for their current trade based on their requirement, especially knowing the C type of Incoterms and also the mandatory requirement for insurance if CIF or CIP is used. Please note that payment for the goods by the buyer is not covered in the Incoterms. It will be a different set of obligations given by issuing bank to beneficiary. We will see the explanations for each Incoterms in the same order. First one will be Ex Works. This can be used for all modes. The seller will make the goods ready for the pickup of the buyer. It will be either in the seller's premise or other named place like factory or warehouse of the sellers. The seller need not arrange for the insurance or export clearance of goods. It also need not load the buyer's arranged transport. It's all lying with the buyer's responsibilities. Insurance also is not mandatory for anyone, but the responsible person may take to protect the transport of good. Next, FCA, which means free carrier. This also can be used in all modes. In this Incoterm, the seller delivers the goods to the buyer's carrier or other buyer's nominated person at seller's premise or any other named place mentioned by the buyer by clearing the export duty also if required in the delivery. This aims that the seller has to arrange for the transport. However, the buyer will pay for the pre-carriage journey up to the named place. Suppose in this transport, any import duty or customs formalities has to be completed, that has to be taken care by the buyer himself. Insurance need not be arranged by the seller, but if the buyer requests, seller may arrange at the risk and cost borne by the buyer. Transport also need not be arranged by the seller. Main carriage has to be taken care by the buyer. But if the buyer wants, they can have a mutual consent and the seller can arrange for the main carriage also at buyer's risk. The cost should be borne by the buyer. Here, export clearance will be done by the seller. Next is FAS, free alongside ship. This is used only for sea mode. The seller has to place the goods alongside the vessel nominated by the buyer. It will be placed on the quay or barge. Quay means in earlier days ships will come and tie alongside the port. Seller needs to arrange for all other costs until unloading at the quay or barge. No mandate for arranging insurance and main carriage for the seller, but if the buyer requests the seller, they may arrange for the carriage, that is seller may arrange after a consent. Export clearance also should be done by seller. Next will be FOB, free on board. It's used only for sea mode. In this, the seller places the goods on the nominated vessel in the nominated port of shipment, that is onboarding the specified vessel. But here also there is no obligation for the seller to arrange for the carriage or insurance. It can be agreed between the parties additionally to arrange for insurance and carriage if they want. Export clearance should be done by seller again. Next will be CFR, which means cost and freight. This is used only for sea mode. Here, seller onboards the main carriage vessel and additionally pays for the main carriage till the named port of shipment, until the named port of destination. One important aspect to be noted is the risk in main carriage journey ends once the seller places the goods. Risk will be transferred to the buyer after the seller places the goods. No obligation for the seller to arrange for the insurance. Export clearance should be done by the seller. Next is CIF, which means cost, insurance and freight. This is used only for sea mode. This is similar as CFR, but additionally seller has to mandatorily arrange for the insurance. Seller places the goods on the vessel, on board the vessel, and pays for transport and also arranges for insurance. In this insurance, at least it has to arrange for ICCC, that is a minimum available risk class. But the risk ends for the seller once he places the goods on board the main carrier. Then CPT, which means cost paid to. This can be used in all modes. Seller arranges for the main carriage and delivers the goods until a named place of destination. It delivers the goods to the nominated carrier to deliver the goods to the named place in destination country, but not until the buyer's place. Insurance is not mandatory for the seller, but in his own interest to arrange to protect the transport. No obligation for the seller to arrange for the insurance. Export clearance should be done by the seller. Next will be CIP, that is carriage and insurance paid to. This can be used for all modes. This is similar to CPT, but additionally seller must arrange for the insurance at least with the minimum available risk class, that is ICCC. Export clearance to be done by the seller. Then we'll see DAT, which is delivered at terminal. This can be used in all modes. Seller will arrange to unload the goods from the carrier and place it in the named terminal specified in the named port or named destination. Unloading the goods and made available for buyer's disposal in a named terminal is the additional difference with the term CPT. Buyer has to bear the unloading cost No obligation for the seller to arrange for the insurance again. Export clearance will be done by the seller. In DAP, that is the next one, will be called as delivered at place. Seller has to make the goods available for the buyer's arriving means of transport in the named place of destination, that is beyond the terminal. Here also no obligation for seller to arrange the insurance, but export clearance to be done by seller. The last one will be DDP, which is delivered duty paid, similar to DAP, but additionally seller has to pay for the import duty. Only in this Incoterm, import duty and taxes will be paid by the seller himself. So in this slide we will see about Incoterms 2020. There are few changes in 2020 version. One is in FCA, which is necessary changes made to issue bills of lading using FCA term as well. Usually the pre-carriage and main carriage will be taken care by the same shipping company. So now they are now giving provision for them to issue the bill of lading using FCA. And other one is removing the term DAT and adding another term called DPU. DPU means delivered at place unloaded, that is unloading the goods at the named place of destination. Only in DPU goods will be unloaded by the seller. Next, CIP now requires default insurance coverage ICCA or equivalent. Earlier we saw for both CIF and CIP minimum requirement should be ICCC, but now CIF can be ICCC, but CIP should be ICCA. Then provisions to allow for own transport arrangements rather than assuming third party transport, like FCA by buyer own transport and DAP, DPU, DDP can be by seller own transport. Next is security related things for a carriage requirements are highlighted due to modern issues. So now we are ending this chapter. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and also click the bell icon.